Less than 50 years ago, this was a defining image of South Korea, a field of farm-friendly dirt. Today, it's this, cosmopolitan with a cacophony of color.
I think it's very hard for us to imagine people have not heard or encountered anything about the Korea wave in our daily life, whether we know it or not.
2024년 3월부터 7월 말까지 약 4개월간 미국 보스턴에서는 한류 특집 전시회가 열리고 있습니다. 각종 현지 언론 매체가 이를 조명했다는 건 저희 채널에서 영상으로 몇 번 소개해드렸죠. 오늘은 해당 전시회가 막바지로 향하는 최근 나온 또 전보다 훨씬 깊은 내용이 실린 영상이 있어 소개해드리려 합니다. 영상이 올라온 건 2024년 7월 10일로 매체는 보스턴 지역 뉴스인 GBH 뉴스인데요. 제목은 보스턴 미술관에 전시된 한류 문화의 물결이며 영상 속에는 30년 이상 동안 한국의 국가정책은 문화를 국가의 가장 큰 수출품으로 만들었다. 하지만 한류는 훨씬 더 먼 옛날부터 시작되어 전 세계적으로 한국 미디어, 음악, 패션 등에 대한 호평을 얻고 있다. 보스턴 미술관의 한류 전시회는 이러한 현상을 기록하고 있다 라고 적혀있네요. 혹시나 오해하실까 말씀드리자면 영상에서는 두 명의 인물이 인터뷰 형식으로 한류를 소개하고 있는데요. 한 명은 베스트셀러 작가이자 우리에게는 드라마 빠칭코로 잘 알려진 이민진 작가로 한국계이지만 다른 한 명은 중국 출신의 중국 역사 및 현대미술 분야의 저명한 학자이자 현재 보스턴 미술관의 아시아 미술 의장으로 해당 전시회를 이끌어가는 크리스티나 유유입니다. 그녀의 출신과 경력을 생각하고 영상을 보시면 좀 더 흥미롭게 느껴지실 것 같네요. 그럼 트루코리아와 함께 보시죠.
Less than 50 years ago, this was a defining image of South Korea, a field of farm-friendly dirt. Today, it's this, cosmopolitan with a cacophony of color. It's also this.
I think it's very hard for us to imagine people have not heard or encountered anything about the Korea wave in our daily life, whether we know it or not.
Christina Yu is chair of the Art of Asia at Boston's Museum of Fine Arts, where the exhibition Hallyu, the Korean Wave, has left its galleries awash in South Korean pop culture, in fashion, film, and fandom. The wave, she says, began in the 1980s and is cresting still.
At the beginning of the exhibition, we have this collage of parodies and retakes of Psy's Gangnam Style. There are people from Ghana, there are people from London, there's prisoners in Philippines dancing Gangnam Style together. It's almost touching every corner of the world.
And the world has responded, making shows like Squid Game the most popular non-English television series of all time. Here we find costumes from the show, and a recreation of the bathroom from Parasite, the 2019 South Korean film about class struggle. With such universal appeal, it became a surprise Oscar-winning hit.
This poor family, there was a flood, and their bathroom was destroyed, and that's like a symbol of their lives. Their aspiration to become an upper-class family was crushed.
It's a plotline that mirrors South Korea's own. Economic disparity has been an impetus for the nation's growth, especially in culture. Case in point, in the mid-1990s, the country realized that the American film Jurassic Park generated as much revenue in South Korea as its own Hyundai cars did.
That just was a shock to everyone. The government noticed that, and they were able to quickly put together and went behind the film industry, went behind the creative industries, and started to subsidize them again.
So what you're really seeing is also capitalism affecting Korean government. It's saying, you know what, we're going to create intellectual property in our music, in our fashion, our design, our technology, and we're going to share it.
Min Jin Lee is part of the Korean wave. The best-selling author of the novels Free Food for Millionaires and Pachinko, she came to the U.S. with her parents as a child and remains fascinated by Korea's outsized cultural influence.
What really makes me drawn to the Korean story is you have a country that's in a weird geographical position because it's surrounded by all these superpowers. And you have all these people who are so desperately trying to determine themselves. So for me, the process of self-actualization, that is what I think makes it keep going and going and going.
As the show reveals, it has been a steep climb. Technology giant Samsung started as a grocery store. LG launched as a cosmetics company making Lucky Cream face powder before becoming synonymous with appliances.
You can't make a person keep going unless they want to. And I think when I meet Koreans around the world, they want to start telling you who they are and what they want. And I kind of think, that's really, like, I connect with that passion. I connect with that yearning.
Then there is K-pop, eliciting worldwide fandemonium. The popularity of Korean music groups, Christina Yu says, stems from a very intentional pop pipeline to their audiences.
We have displays, costumes worn by different idol groups, performers, such as this one is worn by a ensemble called aespa. There are several dresses here. Design actually is an interaction between the idols themselves and the fashion designers and the fandoms.
For as splashy as the Korean culture wave has been, the country has always kept its history and culture deeply embedded. It's abundantly evident in Korean fashion. Yu points out that as avant-garde as looks may appear, they tell the nation's story. They evoke traditional ink paintings. They pay homage to Korea's traditional hanbok dress. And they make subtle references to the moon jar, a simple, round object dating to the 18th century used to store food and liquor. But today, says Yu, it holds weighty symbolism.
In the 20th century, trying to find something to symbolize the humble origin of Korea, but at the same time the resilience of Korean people. So they really elevated the status of the moon jar as a symbol of Korea.
A nation that for decades now has found fertile ground wherever it can plant its own will.
중국 출신 학자가 한류 전시회를 진두지휘하고 한복에 대해 말하고 한류의 세계적 유행을 말하는 건 꽤 흥미롭습니다. 다만 안타깝고 속쓰린 부분도 존재하는데요. 영상을 편집하며 삭제되었으나 이민진 작가의 인터뷰 중 우리나라를 포함한 동아시아 지도가 실렸고 보시다시피 시 오브 재팬이라는 문구가 적혀 있습니다. 물론 저도 알고 있습니다. 역사적 근거와 별개로 세계에서 동해가 그리 불리고 있다는 것 말이죠. 다만 해당 영상은 한류를 다루고 한국의 역사를 다루는 만큼 좀 더 조심할 필요가 있지 않았을까 하는 아쉬움이 드네요. 그리고 동시에 이런 이유로 한류가 더 강력하게 세계로 뻗어나가야겠구나, 그래야 우리의 목소리도 커지겠구나 하는 생각도 듭니다. 여러분은 해당 영상을 어떻게 생각하시나요? 영상을 시청해주셔서 감사합니다. 구독과 좋아요는 영상을 만드는 데 큰 힘이 됩니다.